Good evening, friends. I hope this video finds you well. Today, I'll be discussing the depiction of President Franklin Roosevelt as the Antichrist by fundamentalist Christians in the 1930s. The reason I chose this topic is because, as a history major and lover of World War II history specifically, FDR is often depicted as one of the greatest presidents in America's history. So seeing this not so positive depiction of him is quite fascinating to me. As honestly, I didn't really know that there were those who thought so poorly of him. To begin, in the 1920s and 1930s, the world saw a significant increase in totalitarian governments. This included the rise of leaders like Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, and Benito Mussolini, just to name a few. Now, this rise of totalitarian governments really frightened Americans. And as Matthew Avery Sutton puts it, quote, Roosevelt's efforts to expand the power of the federal government and his international inclinations seemed to parallel fundamentalists' end-time fears about the rise of totalitarian states and world rule by a Satan-inspired dictator. So, in essence, Roosevelt and his New Deal policies really scared fundamentalist Americans. They believed that Roosevelt was leading America down the path of totalitarianism, and literally believed him to be the Antichrist. There were several newspapers that depicted him as such, including the Baltimore Sun's article, Haynes, ex-Roosevelt aide, calls third-term move Antichrist. In this article, Sherman Kahn writes, quote, John W. Hayes, former Secretary of State in the Roosevelt administration, and now supporter of Wendell L. Willkie, Republican presidential nominee, asserted today that I feel sincerely that the third term is an Antichrist movement, for God and a dictator cannot be in the same country, end quote. The Republican Party would also use this terminology in their campaigns against Roosevelt. In May of 1940, the New York Times published an article that detailed the speech of Arthur Vandenberg, a senator who at the time was launching his Republican presidential campaign. In the article, author Turner Catledge quotes Vandenberg, writing, quote, the Antichrist who turns this destruction loose upon peaceful and undefending neighbors, end quote. This was, of course, a stab at President Roosevelt, whose policies included foreign intervention in Europe during the war. This was something that Republicans definitely did not support at the time, especially fundamentalist Christians. Of course, FDR did not turn out to be the Antichrist, but it's still interesting to see that there were so many who thought otherwise. Thank you for listening. I hope you have a wonderful night.